Hi, this is Robert Lee Camp, and I want to show you some things about our latest software programs on the cards that you may not be aware of. This is especially true for some of the people that are actually already using it. There are probably some features and things that you aren't using and you didn't even know they existed, and it will be really great to know what they are. So let's go through some of these things and see if you can find something useful. First of all, you can, if you have more than one of the programs, there's 3 of them altogether. If you have more than one, you can have each program use the same database, because when you install them, they all get installed in different folders and they have their own database. But you can tell the program to use one database. The advantage of that is that you don't have to enter in people more than once. You can enter in one time in one database and you have access to them all. The way you do that is decide which program's database you want to use and just go to Help and Database and just select whichever one it is that you want to use. So, for example, if I said use the Love Cards database and I clicked here, you would see I have this list of people, Joe Biden, Lena Camp, so forth. If I said use the Book of Destiny Reporter database, it's a completely different database with only 3 people in it. And if I said use the Book of Destiny Reader Edition and clicked on the name here, and it tells you, by the way, on this form which database you're using. It tells you on the database form. And you'll see that this is the one that I have the most people in. So I'm just going to keep it with this particular database. Okay, that's the first item. The next item is, and this is especially good for people that have laptops, because laptops often have very small screens, and this program has a very big screen. In order to fit all this information in here, it took up a lot more room than most of my programs ever did. But you can resize the screen to whatever you want. We're going to make it a little smaller here. I'm going to grab the corner of it if I can. There we go. And I'm going to make it smaller. This way, if I had a laptop, it's going to look better on the laptop. Now, I'm on a desktop, so it won't really matter, but that's the idea. And then you say save screen size, and you get a message saying it was saved. So every time you run it now, it's going to be at that size. And that'll be the size that you use on that computer. And I've noticed that laptops can get a little crowded. The screens, though they're high resolution, most people run them in a lower resolution, and a window like this would take up the whole thing. That'd be more. I'm going to set it back to the original size. There we go. So we can get on to the next thing. Okay. The next little feature is something that I put in the program without telling anybody just recently. And it's because I was doing a podcast, and on the podcast shows, I would want to just type in somebody's birthday really quickly without having to go through the whole database thing. So there's a feature now. You can just click here, and you can just type in a birthday, and boom, you have their spreads in front of you. I find it very, very helpful. You have to just type it in and hit enter. Okay. So they haven't been added to your database, but you can, if you're doing something like I'm doing a podcast where you have a lot of people calling in with different birthdays, asking about their cards, and I want to take a look and see what they got going on. This is the quickest way. And this works on both the Reader and the Reporter edition, by the way. So both of them have this feature, and I use it a lot. The features from here on out are going to be more for advanced users of the program, and they're specific to each program. Okay, and I see the Reporter definitely has ones. Let's see. No. Oh, let me actually go over this real quick. In case you weren't aware in the preferences here, you can tell the program which one of these tabs up here that the program is going to open up on every time it runs. I choose traditional spreads, but you can choose any of these 4 on this program and 5 or 6 on the other one, I think. Although the Reader Edition has even more, but nobody's going to want to open it up on the Awareness or Search tab. So it's going to be one of these 2. You can select that. Okay. Let's see, Preferences. Okay, so that's not going to be applying to here. So let's go out of this one and let's bring up the Reporter Edition real quick. Here we go. Which has all these reports. It has actually 6 different reports because the Find Money and Success are 2 separate reports. So you have 6 reports. And by the way, 5 of these reports you can sell. You can sell them to people. The yearly report is the most popular, of course, but the weekly calendar pages What I would do for clients in the past was I would do like a year's worth. So I would click on do entire year, and I would click on make the report like this. It's doing an entire year at one time. See, it's up to 37 weeks. So it's going to do 52 weeks basically. And you've got this really nice calendar in a landscape format that has all their cards. Like it has a birth card, ruling card, up to 3 cards, and decade ruling card. And it tells you what cards they have every day. And it leaves them a space here where they can write in some notes. So you could take this, you could print it out to a PDF, and you could sell that. I used to sell them for $52, $1 a week. Just wanted to mention that to some of you users who may not have thought that they're really valuable. And then you have all the rest of them, the Find Money Success and the Yearly Relationship Report, which, these are all things you can sell, okay? Now, in the preferences here, you have some things that I want to show you. Edit Power Values. So this pertains to the Find Money and Find Success reports. If you don't know about this yet, these reports are looking for certain cards in certain positions. And I've assigned a value, a strength value to each, or a power value to each of these cards in their position. So like if you displace the 8 of 10 of diamonds, okay, I've given that an 8. If you have a 10 of diamonds environment, I've given that an 8. If you have a 10 of diamonds in Jupiter, I've given that a 10. It's from 1 to 10, the values, right? So you can change these. If you want to change this to a 7, you could do that. Now it's a 7. So if you think that my particular selection of values is not as good as you would like it to be, you want to fine tune that, you have the ability to do that here. And both for the money and the success. And there's a lot of cards, a lot more in the success than there is in the money, by the way, because you have different suits and so forth. You have hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades all in this success category, okay? So, but this is something that a lot of users don't really pay attention to. But if you're an advanced user and you think, I think I should give more value to some of these before I do my report, you can do that. And it saves it, by the way. They save it, they're saved, and they will stay the same way until you change them again. Okay, the last tip is in relationship to the Love Cards program. It has actually a couple things that you can adjust. It has compatibility indexes. It has the connection search list, which I suggest you don't do unless you know what you're doing. And it has the marriage ability factor that you can adjust. So you can go in either one of these and you're able to change the attraction, harmony, and intensity of each of these particular connections. It tells you what the connection is down below when you click on it here. So you know what connection you're actually working on. But then you have to then adjust them if you choose. I have adjusted these to be what I think works best, but I've given you the ability to change it at your discretion. And same thing about marriageability. Like I've given these factors, okay? So freedom, the Neptune influence, power, pride, Saturn, Venus, and the 3 influence, which are all described but in the program, but you can adjust these if you want, like for every card in the deck, what its rating comes up. And the rating here is opposite of the book. The higher the rating, the more marriageable you are. The lower the rating, the less marriageable you are. So like you take a card like a 5 of clubs, which is an 18, and they got a rating of a 0. Okay, because freedom is so important to them. So, you have the ability to adjust these. You also have the ability to adjust what cards are searched for looking for a relationship connection. You can check and uncheck them here. You can add jacks and queens and kings. If it's Leos and they need more connections, you can add them in here. Okay. So there's instructions on this page on how to do it. So that basically is it. Everything else is the same. I mean, some of you might have looked at the magic circle or looked at the life and spiritual spreads and so forth. But these factors, these are some things that I thought you would like to know, especially if you already have the program, you want to get more out of it. Okay? So I appreciate you watching and have a great day.